Hey there, writers. We are back, and as you can see, we have a new look that we're rocking currently. So there are still book review videos that are going to come out that have me with my long hair, so don't at me. I just am still filming. So I have decided that Fridays I'm going to turn into my Reddit Fridays, I guess. Sometimes we'll be answering questions from r/writing. Sometimes we'll be doing things from other subs. This week, I decided that we were going to do something from r/am I the asshole? Because it is one of my favorite subs. And for those of you who don't know, r/am I the asshole, or AITA, is basically a sub where people come on and they post a story of something that happened, an incident they had with a family member or a friend or a significant other. And they, in that situation, people are telling them they're the asshole, or the person they had the argument with is telling them they're the asshole. And so they're coming to the internet to see if they really are the asshole, to see what strangers on the internet have to say about their asininehood. So I really love this sub. I almost called it a thread. This sub. And I figured that we would do some reaction videos to it. So I have my screen recording going on here. So let's get to it. So we're going to scroll for a minute until we see something that looks interesting, that looks juicy. So lashing out at my husband for making a scene, skimming through the play. She was already in the play twice. I'm going to go with no on that one. Sometimes I just judge based on the title. For telling my boyfriend if he wanted an easy job like mine, he should have gotten a degree or made an effort to do so. Depends on how she said it, I guess. All right, let's do this one. I like family drama. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, this one's long. Okay. All right, we're gonna find a better one. We're gonna keep scrolling. We're scrolling. Ooh, am I the asshole for the way I reacted to a comment I considered sexist? Ooh, I love the I considered. That makes me happy. All right, I work as a receptionist. I do the evening shift. A guy from the cleaning department came around and asked when I would start working full-time again. I do part-time because I'm studying. I said at the end of the semester. He said he was looking forward to that because I was cuter to look at than the guy replacing me when I'm not here. Wow, bold. Bold, man. I answered exactly what follows. Quote, I don't find your comment very appropriate in the workplace. I'm not here to be cute. I'm here to work. I'm saying this to put my limits because I don't feel comfortable with what you said. Unquote. And I was all shaky, but I was proud of how clear I expressed my discomfort as he looked uncomfortable and said, okay, I understand, and left. The moment passed and I'm wondering if I overreacted. He didn't make a comment that was that bad, but he's a lot older than me, could be my dad, and I don't want to tolerate it. Was my reaction too much? So there are a couple judgments that you can get in Am I the Asshole? There is YTA, you are the asshole. Self-explanatory. There is NTA, not the asshole. Now, not the asshole is to specifically imply that the other person in a situation is the asshole in the situation. So like if you had an argument with a friend and they were being rude to you, people would comment saying, not the asshole because you're not the asshole, they're the asshole. Now, there is also ESH, everyone sucks here, self-explanatory. There is NAH, no assholes here, which is to imply that you were not the asshole, but neither was the person you were arguing or talking to. So, for the way I reacted to a comment I considered sexist, I'm going to go with not the asshole, which is, again, to imply that the guy from the cleaning department is the asshole in this situation. Now, not a, full-blown asshole or anything, but it is incredibly inappropriate to comment on the physical attractiveness of your coworkers. And I agree with how she said it, too. I'm not here to be cute. I'm here to work. Let's see what other people had to say. Not the asshole. You said it formally. If you said, fuck off, you old perv, then maybe, but you said it nicely. That's fair. That's fair. And someone says, even if she'd said that, she'd be justified the asshole, and I'd still applaud her. So somebody said it was a pretty tame comment, not a bad comment. It was just a comment. Just a lot of comment. If she had said that, she would not be justified. So somebody else said it sounds like it was a joke, which, again, clearly she didn't take it as a joke, so clearly there is not like a repartee between the two of them, or a rapport between the two of them. If you are genuinely friends, if you are like outside of work friends with somebody, and you could make those kind of joking comments to each other because you know each other's humor, you know each other's, personality, or actual genuine friends, yeah, maybe you could get away with a joke like that in the workplace. It still would not really be appropriate for the workplace, and you could still find yourself in some hot water if, a supervisor overheard you just saying that out loud in the workplace. It does not sound, based on her reaction, it does not sound like they have the kind of relationship that would allow for a joke like that. So while it could sound like a joke to some people, and while perhaps he thought it was a joke, you got to read the room and you got to read your audience. Someone says it's a joke inherently based in sexism, which is fair. Oh, and somebody else says, would he have said that to a man? Which I think is really I think that's a good judgment for men in the workplace. I think if you wouldn't go up to a man and be like, yo, you're cuter than Bob down the hall, you probably shouldn't say it to a woman. I'm just going to say it. Looks like the genuine reaction is not the asshole. Oh, we have a no assholes here. I guess they're giving no assholes here because he just like kind of took the comment and was like, oh, okay, and backed off, which is fair. I could justify that no assholes here, but he did make the comment, so I'm sticking with not the asshole. All right, so yeah, looks like not the asshole / a little bit of no assholes here, which I don't necessarily agree with because, again, he did knowingly make the comment, but I could justify it. We're not forgiving my dad. That sounds heavy. We're not going to do heavy tonight. Ooh, what about... It's not that long. All right. Am I the asshole for not allowing my daughter to be friends with another girl? This could be interesting. So, hi, everyone. My daughter is 15 and in high school. Oh, another thing. So, normally they'll give us ages and sexes. So, they'll be like, my daughter is 15 and then in parentheses female. So typically it's to distinctify you in a story, but yeah, and it's just habit on Am I the Asshole? My family lives near the East Coast in a medium-sized county. As the title says, my daughter is friends with a girl from her high school of the same age. I met her a few times and she seems like a nice girl. However, her family is something else, and she herself may not understand some of her own actions. Probably 12 years ago now, there was a clan gathering in a local college town. All right, I'm sorry, guys, I can't do this one. I'm not here to get kicked off YouTube. So it's probably going to be one of those convoluted answers anyway, whereas, you're going to start getting into the depths of, can you blame the child for the sins of the parent kind of thing. Let's see, reaction. My wife wanted to sell my dad's truck, confronting a coworker for constant. We already did coworker. Ooh, this one might be interesting. Ooh, and it's not that long. All right. Am I the asshole for kicking my roommate and his girlfriend out 1 month before she's due to give birth? Ooh, juicy again. I, 27 male, live with 2 other guys. I'll call them Matthew, 26 male, and Jay, 27 male. Another general rule of thumb is don't use people's real names. There used to be a 4th guy, but he moved out a few months ago. So 6 weeks after he moved out and we were looking for a new roommate, Matthew tells us that his girlfriend, who I'll call Alyssa, 25 female. So we've got Matthew and Alyssa, 26 and 25. Sometimes there's a real age difference and that weighs into the judgments. Had to take a pay cut a few months earlier after her employer restructured and was having trouble paying her rent. He asked if she could just move in. Jay and I didn't see why not, so we agreed. When she showed up, I noticed she was obviously pregnant. After he had finished helping her unpack and stuff, I confronted Matthew about it. He confirmed that she is in fact 7 months pregnant. For context, the lease is under my name and Matthew and Jay are subletters. Matthew's sublease is renewed every 3 months and his current sublease ends 16 days before Alyssa's due date. I told him that I don't want to deal with a crying baby and will not renew his sublease. He's pleaded with me to just give him and Alyssa an extra 6 weeks after this so they don't end up without a place while she's in the hospital and everything. But I refused. If the baby comes early, I will not be made to deal with that for 5.5 weeks. When I told Matthew this, he couldn't believe it and urged me to give them the extra time out of, quote unquote, compassion. I spoke with Jay about it. He says that he will respect my decision and gets that everyone has to be okay with having a baby in the apartment, but he says that they are in an objectively bad situation and has said we really should just let them have a few weeks and would let them stay if it were up to him. So, honestly, I have to say I side with Jay. I'm going to go with a judgment of no assholes here. I will put a caveat on there that Matthew is a little bit of an asshole, and depending on how much the roommates talked to Alyssa prior, if it wasn't just a like Alyssa talked to Matthew, Matthew talked to the roommates, and then Matthew talked to Alyssa. I will say they are kind of assholes in this situation for not saying she's pregnant, because if I had to guess, and everything on Am I the Asshole is if I had to guess or take an educated guess, they knew that they were going to say no. They knew the roommates weren't going to want to live with the baby, and they knew the roommates were going to say no to Alyssa moving in because she was about to have a baby, and so they just didn't mention it. So that was kind of an asshole move. Now that they're in the situation, I don't necessarily think that Matthew and Alyssa are assholes for asking for an extra 6 weeks while she's in the hospital. But, Matthew? Yeah. I'm starting to get their names mixed up. But I don't think OP is the asshole for not wanting to live with the baby. And I think that had Matthew owned up to that fact in the beginning, they would have been able to know that, and they would have been able to make other arrangements. So like Matthew and Alyssa kind of made their own bed, and now they're having to find a new bed. I was going to say sleep in it, but they were going to have to find a new bed. Now, I personally in this situation, I would be the J in this situation. You know, I'd be pissed off. I really would. But I'd probably just give it to them. Yeah. There's not really a reason I would do that. Like, I don't think that OP should, like, have to give in and let them stay the extra 6 weeks. I do, personally, I would do it. It sounds like Jay would do it. But you know what? It's OP's decision whether he wants to live with the baby or not. And it was Matthew's decision to hide the fact that OP was going to have to be living with a baby in this situation. So I don't blame OP for saying no. So let's see what everybody else has to say. So we have a not the asshole. Should have let you know she was pregnant before moving in so you could make an informed choice. That's kind of what I'm saying. So this person says if you let them stay, it'll be even harder to make them leave once the baby is here, which I'm not going to lie is probably accurate. His one says he pretty clearly intentionally avoided mentioning that, which I agree with, which is why I think there's a no asshole situation. You know, Matthew, again, made his bed and now has to find a new one. This person wouldn't let them stay the 6 weeks. We have a not the asshole. Oh, okay, so here's one. So I'm conflicted about this, but I do think compassion for people not wanting to be around a baby and compassion for a mother and baby that could end up homeless are very different levels of compassion. So this second comment is the one that kind of caught my attention. So we're going to go with this guy. So it's not the only context. On one hand, we have compassion for people not wanting to be around a baby. On the other hand, we have compassion for a mother and baby that could end up homeless because they intentionally failed to mention an important consideration, presumably knowing that mentioning it would have caused OP to make a different decision. I agree. That's on them. People who try to screw you over are not deserving of your compassion. Now, I do think that's a little harsh. I don't know if they were necessarily trying to screw over OP. I think she's 4 weeks out from giving birth and they were desperate. If I had to guess, that's what I'm guessing, that they were just in a desperate situation and made a desperate choice. But that desperation is not really OP's problem. And I don't think that makes OP a terrible person. I don't think it makes them an asshole. All right. For telling my niece the truth about Anna Montana. Oh my goodness. It's like somebody like spoiling that Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen were both Michelle on Full House. Respect his granddaughter's personal space. Ooh, this one could be interesting. Is it long? It looks a little long. It looks like it's going to be long. We're gonna roll with it. Am I the asshole for telling my dad to respect his granddaughter's personal space/boundaries? Apologies if this is poorly written. My mind's a jumble at the moment. So for context, my family has always been very close-knit. We aren't allowed to finish any argument, no matter how bad, without saying, I love you. Hugs are given often. We generally get along really well. Okay, interesting parenting tactic. About a week ago, my family all got together for dinner. This includes my 6-year-old nephew and 2-year-old niece. My niece is still very attached to her mother at the moment and usually tries to stay as close to her as possible. My dad has always liked spending time with the kids in our family, and my niece/his granddaughter has quickly become his favorite. Not supposed to have favorites, but... After dinner was all over, we sat in the living room and talked. At some point, my dad asked my niece if he could pick her up. She said, no, I want to see mommy. He then proceeded to pick her up regardless, which elicited a lot of protest from her. She cried and told him she wanted to get off, to which he responded with, no. That's how they wrote it. After a few seconds of crying niece, I spoke up. I told my dad, if she says to get off her, you should get off her. Just because she's little doesn't mean you can ignore her boundaries. I already know what I'm going to say to this one. He set her back down but got pretty upset with me. We went back and forth for a few minutes. I tried to get the point across to him that we should teach her that her words have meaning and no means no. He told me I was overreacting and that she knew he wouldn't do anything to hurt her in any way. All of this hit me pretty hard. In the past few years, I made some massive changes to myself as a person and seen firsthand how fragile consent and boundaries can be when someone is determined not to listen to either. In the heat of the moment, all I could think about was the message my dad's actions were telling my niece. I want her to grow up and know that her words have purpose and meaning. After my brother and his family left, my mom pulled me aside and told me that I had been a bit harsh and that I could have been nicer in explaining to my dad. I left to drive home pretty frustrated, but a week or so removed, I'm starting to wonder if I'm the asshole. I don't need to think about this one. You're not the asshole, girlfriend. Like, thank you for protecting your niece, honestly. I get where dad/granddad is coming from. I get that when you're around your little family that they're so cute, they're so adorable, you just want to hug them and love them and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And at least when I was young, I'm a 90s baby, for those who don't know. When I was young, you know, that was just the standard, you know, kiss grandma and grandpa on the cheek, give them a hug goodbye, give them a hug hello, you know, whatever the adults wanted to do, that was what you were expected to do as the child. There is, however, a pretty distinct message, one that OP has pointed out, that does tell children, you know, what you say doesn't matter. What you want doesn't matter. All that matters are what grown-ups around you want. And without getting, I was going to say demonetized, but I'm not monetized. Without getting banned off YouTube, now in recent years and less recent years, we've kind of seen what that can do in less than good family situations. And Opie kind of brought that up. Where was it? All I could think about was the message my dad's actions were telling my niece. And I agree with that. I do think that it is important for young kids to know that they are allowed to have autonomy and that they are allowed to say no and that they are allowed to basically police their own personal space. I think that's very important. I myself am not a parent. One of my best friends, however, is a parent, and that is exactly how she parents her child. She is very adamant, and, you know, as a childless person, I appreciate that she's so adamant about her child gets to choose who he touches and when he touches them. You know, adults are not allowed to say, oh, I want a hug, and he say, I don't really want a hug. And they say, well, tough, you're getting a hug anyway. She shuts that down right away. And I respect her so much as a parent for it. And I respect OP for standing up to her own parent in defense of this young child who isn't yet able to stand up for herself. Love your niece how she wants to be loved. She's a person too, even if she's tiny. So that one was a good one. I like OP in that one. I want to be friends with OP. OP, if you're watching this, come at me. For wanting to see my girlfriend's YouTube channel. All right, we're gonna do this one, and I think we're gonna stop for now. All right, so I've been dating this girl for about 8 months. Everything was going pretty great, even with everything happening in the world. We got to see each other pretty often. So the other day, I was hanging out with my girlfriend at her apartment. Her roommate happened to be in the room and mentioned something about my girlfriend's YouTube channel. I was immediately confused because I'd never heard of it before. Later that night, I brought it up to my girlfriend, and she said it was just something she does for a little extra cash. She apparently has about 100,000 subscribers. Woo! A little extra cash there, girl. I was kind of thrown for a loop as I'd never heard of this before, so I asked her what kind of content she makes, and she said something vague about how it was cringe and stuff. I tried to get her channel name, but she refused to tell me the channel name. By this time, I was kind of upset that it kind of felt like she'd been hiding this from me. So the next morning, I got up and went to the kitchen, and her 2 roommates happened to be there. I started talking to them and asked a little bit about the YouTube channel. They both knew about it, but refused to tell me the channel name, saying my girlfriend had specifically asked them not to tell me. Ooh, secrets. I like it. By this time, I was pretty upset. It really felt like my girlfriend had been hiding this from me on purpose, and there's also to add the fact that I have no clue what she even does on YouTube. We got into an argument about it, and I'm wondering if I'm the asshole for wanting to know what the hell is up with her YouTube channel. My first instinct was no assholes here, but I will say that she has acted a little shady. Like, I get if you don't want somebody to see your YouTube channel, like if it's your significant other or whatever, but on the other side, you're making content and putting it out there in the world. So to think that he's never going to know about your YouTube channel is a little unrealistic. And I'm a little curious, like, does she not link it anywhere? Like, can he not find it through, like, her other social media accounts? Because most YouTubers I know, like, just spam all of their accounts, yours truly included. Like, is it just an embarrassing hobby, maybe? I don't know. But I'm going to go with not the asshole. I would go no assholes here, but I think that her kind of secretive, shady behavior puts her a little into asshole territory, because now it's like she's actively keeping this secret from him. So there's a couple good ones. So that was Am I the Asshole for Friday. And like I said, every Friday I'm going to be doing something from Reddit, just a reaction, whether it's from the writing sub, from Am I the Asshole. Those are pretty much the subs I follow. I follow a lot of pet. I follow r/cows, r/aw, like 3 W's. r/forbidden boops. You should look at that one. That one's great. Feel free to leave your reactions below, especially if you agree with me or disagree with me, especially if you have an opinion as a person. I'd love to know what you guys think about the ones that we looked at today, and I'd love to know what your judgments on these ones would be. I am going to link all of the posts that we reacted to today in the description below, so you guys can find them on your own, and if you feel like giving your judgments to the actual people, feel free to do so. That's why they posted. So feel free to follow me on all of my social medias. It is @RightOrWrong, same name as the channel, on both Instagram and Twitter. And I will see you guys next week. Later, writers.